What is up, everyone? It is David Mailer here, your Man on Fire mentor, and today we are going to dive into the center of the fire and talk about the power of having focus. And I will explain to you guys exactly what I mean by that, because there is only one thing in your life that you will ever be able to truly control. And that one thing is your focus, meaning where is your mind being pulled? Are you here? Are you now? Are you in present moment? Are you in the past? Are you in the future? Where are you? And you will see as a man that the thing that can support you in having extraordinary growth, in having phenomenal growth, in being able to live a life that is truly driven by purpose is in relationship to your ability to command and to control your focus. Now, I've taught a lot about this before, so I'll give you guys a very quick overview of what I mean by this, or where our focus has a tendency to go. Many of you may have heard that the average human brain mind will have anywhere from 6,000 thoughts, literally up to 100,000 thoughts per day. And then the question is, if I'm having all of these thoughts, what are the thoughts? What are the thoughts on? Where are the thoughts taking me? And you kind of look at it, you have this car that gets you a certain amount of gas mileage per day, let's just say 400 miles. Well, what is the tank being emptied on? Where is the mind constantly being pulled to? And what most of you would discover if you were to journal about this, or you were to really pay attention, is you'll see that more often than not, your focus has a tendency to drift into the past or drift into the future. And when it goes to the past, you will most likely be thinking about one of two things. Number one, you'll be thinking about the stuff that didn't work out, that you didn't like, the hurts, the wounds, the traumas, the pains, and somehow you obsess about the past through the lens of all the things that were hurtful to you. And the other place that we go relative to the past is we might go to a place of the good old days, talking about or fantasizing about college and how popular you were in high school or college and how your fraternity was so amazing, and your languaging and your mind is constantly being pulled into this space of what used to be, right? Or it's getting pulled into the pain of your past. And if you were to catch yourself in present moment, oh my God, I was just in the past, I'm not even here, right? How many times has your wife or your ex-wife or your girlfriend, your fiance, or even a kid or a family member said, where are you right now? Where are you? And you'll habitually say, I'm here. No, I'm paying attention. But the truth is, if you're honest with yourself, you'll see that you've drifted most likely into the past, or you'll drift off into the future. And when a man drifts into the future, he goes to one of two places. Just like in the past, you go to one of two places. Number one was you go into the good old days, or number two, you go into the things that were hurtful or traumatic in your life. Well, when you go into the future, you go to one of two places. One, you can go to the fantasy of the future. I'm going to have this big house one day. I'm going to have this beautiful car. I'm going to have the best wife by my side. I'm going to get along amazing with my kids. I'm going to have millions and millions of dollars. And you go into this fantasy of the future, which is different than you actually having a vision for your life. I'm talking about the fantasy where it's not grounded in any reality. You actually go there to escape. Or you will go into the anxiety and the worry of the future, the things that you can't control, the things that are so far out there, and you're already in the panic of what's to be or what's to come, and has nothing to do with present day reality. So you are not here in this moment. You are nowhere to be found, right? You're either in the past or you're in the future. So you're nowhere. Now you separate the word nowhere and you realize, oh, I'm now here. Because if you're not in the past and you're not in the future, that is what allows you to actually be invited into this very moment, which is the present. And we've heard people say there's the only thing that exists is now. You have to learn to be present. You have to get present. And we understand this on some level intellectually, but to actually put it into practice, to actually learn, well, how do I do that? How do I pull myself out of the past? Like, snapping your fingers like, hey, come back. Where'd you just go? How do I pull myself out of the future into this fantasy life or into the worry of the future? How do I come back into this now, here moment where I'm actually present? And the answer is by learning how to command your focus. And as I started off today's live, what I was sharing with you guys is that there is only one thing that you could ever control in your life, and that is your focus. It's where you're putting your attention. Where are you putting your mind? Where are you putting your energy? Where are you putting your focus? And this will serve you obviously tremendously, but with every passing month, with every passing year, the attention span of a man is being depleted. There's research that even suggests that our attention span, our ability to maintain focus, is that which is shorter than that of a goldfish. You even see in movie clips, or you see in any highlights, whether it's a movie, whether it's something you watch on YouTube, they have to change the scene like every 2 seconds, 3 seconds, because they know you'll drift somewhere and you'll be off to the next thing. And the whole idea behind, movies or behind marketing, whether it's Facebook, whether it's YouTube, is how do I keep this person's attention? So they do it through quick little clips, because they know that if they stay on something for too long, they'll lose you, because men, right? We haven't learned how to control, how to dominate our focus. And we'll constantly drift into that past, or we'll drift into the future, and then we're not here. And when we're not here, how can we be productive? How can we be powerful? How can we be in command of our life? How can we be in command of our ship? How can we be the captain of our ship that takes our ship where we want to go in our life, where we're living with passion, we're living with power, we're living on purpose? You can't. You can't, because you have this thing called the mind. You have this thing called the brain that is constantly enslaving you. It's like you have these pirates inside of your head, and they're constantly talking to you. 6,000, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000 thoughts a day. The pirates aren't going anywhere. And you at some point as a man will have the courageous and the gracious invitation to learn, how do I take back the helm of my ship? How do I learn to control my focus? How do I learn to dominate my mind and actually direct it and put it on something that I want it to go to? How do I learn to put it on an investment of energy where I want that energy to be? So I'll give you an example that I think just about every man can fully relate to. And that would be, for example, when I take my wife out to dinner, and let's just say we're in this restaurant, and there are other tables around us, and here I am, I'm sitting here, and my wife is right in front of me, and there'll be other people coming in the restaurant, and there might be a group of 3 or 4 younger women that sit a table or two across from us. There might be a table with a man sitting with his wife, and she has blonde hair, and they're sitting next to us. And you have all of this energy that's all around you, and it's going to try to pull you. Hey, come over here. Hey, come check out what this woman looks like. Hey, why don't you fantasize about what it would be like if you were with her rather than your wife? Hey, look at all these younger women. They're so much younger. They're so much more vibrant. They're so much different than your wife. Why don't you imagine what it would be like to be with one of them? And then what happens with a lot of men is they'll take that thought and they'll take it all the way home, and they'll take it all the way to masturbation, leaking their energy, right? You literally live in the fantasy of what it would be like to be with somebody rather than the person that you're with. So how do I handle those situations? Now, full transparency, up until roughly age 40, I was completely dominated and controlled. Wherever my mind wanted to pull me, it pulled me. It's like the motorboat is your mind, and you're the water skier. Maybe you got a few good tricks, but the truth is the boat takes you wherever the boat wants to take you. And my mind used to take me on journeys. My mind used to take me on these rides of fantasy about being with this one, being with that one, and I was not the master of my own mind. I was not the master of my own focus. I leaked my energy tremendously, and anyone that was going to be in a relationship with me, including my ex-wife, was going to be hurt because I was not in full ownership of my power. I was not in my heart. I was not in ownership of my light. And this was directly in relationship to my inability to command my focus. So now fast forward, here I am at a restaurant with my wife, and I might be able to sense that somebody's coming in the restaurant, but I can feel the impulse, and I can feel how the energy wants to try to pull me, wants to try to steal my attention, wants to try to pull me in a different direction. And at that moment, I pull my mind back and I say, no, my wife is the center of my universe. My focused attention, my energy, I'm deciding that I want it on her. My marriage is sacred enough to me where I must command my focus and put my attention, put my focus on my wife, help her feel safe in the space, help her feel held, help her feel like she's the only one for me. And that comes with containing my energy and mastering my focus. And you have to decide in your life, like, well, what's sacred to you? Like, well, what do you value the most? What is the thing you want to give your energy and your time and your focused attention to? And that's what you deem most important. Now, sadly, some of you will say, well, that's my children. Well, that's my wife. And I would call you out and say, BS, right? Bullshit. Because if you were honest with yourself, what's getting your focus, what's getting your time, what's getting your energy, for so many of you is pornography. For so many of you, it's fantasy about being with somebody else. For so many of you, it's video games. For so many of you, it's alcohol, it's weed, it's massage parlors, it's strip clubs. That's what's sacred. That's what you've been giving your time, your energy, your attention, your focus to, because you most likely, most of you listening right now, and this is not me picking on you, it's just being honest. Most of you most likely have not learned how do you command your focus. And until you do that as a man, until you really learn to harness this power, that's when you're going to start coming into your masculine leadership. That's where you're going to really start to be plugged into your heart, where you, no matter what's going on around you, you don't let these things deter you, distract you, pull you, and take you out of your own focus. Right? You have to get into a space of being imperturbable, sturdy, steady, rooted, unwavering. Nothing can pull me in this moment. Right? It's like that drill sergeant in the Army or Marine screaming in your face, telling you why you're not going to graduate and why you're going to drop out and why you're weak. And you're standing there and you have to remind yourself of who you are. You have to remind yourself of your value, of your principles. You have to remind yourself of exactly what you know you're capable of. And nobody's words and nobody outside of yourself is going to determine your value. Not another man, not another woman. Nobody can pull you off of the knowingness of who you are. So when I'm at that restaurant, as soon as I feel an impulse of something wanting to pull me, I have choice in that moment. Let it pull me, and then my head goes over here. Now all of a sudden I'm looking at somebody else. And by the way, guys, I'm not making that wrong, right? Some guys are going to be pulled. You're going to look. You're going to drink in the beauty of another woman. Maybe some of you have mastered the art of drinking it in and you can let it go within a second. Good for you. I'm taking it to the next level. Not only can you get to a place where you don't even have to look, right? Just like, an attractive woman is coming towards you, most of us would look, then most of us would turn our head, and then most of us would take that thought home with us and take it straight to the bathroom and go pleasure yourself. But what if you could stop the impulse? You don't even have to take somebody in physically. Why do that? Why not have reverence for the feminine? Why not treat them with sacredness? Why not learn to harness and control your energy and control your power and control your focus? So there I am at the restaurant with my wife, and nothing's going to pull me. Nothing's going to distract me, right? Oh, except one thing, right? When the waiter comes over and says, may I take your order, please? And then I bring my attention to the waiter, and boom. I'm putting in our order. But other than that, I'm there with my wife. I don't bring a cell phone on my dates with my wife, right? Why should I have something that distracts me? What am I going to do? Look at sports? What am I going to do? Scroll through the internet? Check crypto? Check stocks? For what? My focus is the only thing that I can control in life. And for so many of us as men, we have never learned to master the art of controlling your focus. And in the Man on Fire Brotherhood, we teach this. We teach men how to gain mastery of their own mind, how to gain mastery of controlling your focus. And once you start to learn to do this, the promise is you will have a life that is more fulfilling. The promise is you will have a marriage that's more rewarding. there's more intimacy, there's more passion, there's more trust, there's more love. Your relationships, whether it's with your kids or with family or with friends, co-workers, everything will improve if you learn to control your focus. And this is where you make that journey, where some of you go from being a boy or being a prince or being a knight, and you start to graduate and you start to go more towards the king energy, because the king masters his focus. The king doesn't let things pull him, distract him, and take him off of his mission, take him off of his purpose. No, the king learns to control and master his focus. So who here wants to learn that? And if you want to learn how to do that, and you want to come into a brotherhood where you will be held accountable to who you truly are, right? Because there's a version of life, a version of us that we're living in our life that is so far removed from who we truly are. There's this version of you and your full potential and what is possible for you, what you're capable of. And then there's this version of you that's masquerading around, that's not living with passion, not living in integrity, not living on purpose, not crushing it, not protecting the feminine. There's a gap. And why a lot of men will find us is they recognize that they have to close this gap because the stakes are too high right now. Sadly, most guys will see the gap, but the pain's not there, the motivation's not there, the discipline's not there, the willingness to invest in yourself is not there. So you'll default into victimhood or into blame. Then there's the courageous few that say, I want to bridge this gap. I want to walk across the bridge. I want to go after my true potential. I want to leave it all out on the field. I don't want to die with regret. I want to live fully. I want to love fully. I want to give. I want to love. I want to serve with every ounce of my being. How do I do that? And that's where you first ask for help. That's where you recognize that getting support, being held accountable, being challenged, iron sharpening iron, that's the recipe. I've been in the healing and transformational space since 1994, so you can do the math. And I'll tell you that the recipe to have change in your life, to really go after your full potential and to start living into it, be supported, be challenged, and be held accountable. Unless you are a Navy SEAL, you are not going to hold yourself to the fire. You're not going to be able to master your mind and master your focus to the point where you don't need a brotherhood behind you. And by the way, guys, I am not suggesting that Man on Fire has to be the brotherhood for you. However, if you do resonate with me and you resonate with a lot of the coaches that you've seen in some of our videos and you're resonating with a lot of the testimonials that we post, great. Then reach out to us. Let's have a phone call with one of our senior coaches, and you can explore if one of our coaching programs might be the next best step for you to start making change and progress in your life. But I invite you to not apply for that call if you're not genuine and you're not sincere about wanting to grow. I also would encourage guys that right now that are in a place where they're not able to invest in themselves. And what I mean by invest is your time, your energy, and your finances. Because our coaching programs do require a financial investment. We have programs that range from $2,000 all the way up. So men can literally get started in our community with having other eyes on you, other coaches on you, other men to be in your groups, where you can start getting a baseline of support, challenge, and accountability. And naturally, as you go up in different programs, you are held more accountable and you have more support afforded to you. But this is for a man that is in a position, is in a place where he can invest in himself. And if you're not in that place, then just wait until you can. Don't apply for the call. Keep coming on to a lot of my YouTube videos, the Facebook videos, Instagram. There's free content that I have out there every single week, because a lot of guys will say, oh, you just do this for the money. You don't really care about anybody. It's all about the money. And I would respectfully tell you guys to please stop saying that. That is your victimhood. That is you just playing that card, and it doesn't serve you. I personally don't take that personal when you guys say that, but it's not serving you. You're doing yourself a disservice when you want to point your finger and you want to say, oh, you're just about the money. No, you're pissed at yourself for not being in a position where you could actually invest in yourself. And we have plenty of free resources for you guys to get supported. And if it's important enough to you, then you'll find a way. That's how life works, right? Like, you will always find the money for something that you value. The problem is a lot of men don't value their personal growth. They don't value growing themselves. They don't see that in doing that, every aspect of your life will change. But they'll value cigarettes, they'll value spending money on alcohol, they'll value spending money on materialistic stuff that they don't need. So I'm not here to listen to men complaining about, oh, we're just about the money. That's not true. We have spent hundreds, if not thousands of hours supporting men that have nothing, that have no money. We have sent people to men's houses that we were concerned that they wanted to end their life. We have had coaches spend hours and hours on a phone with a guy that had nothing to do with coming into our program. We have men in our community, coaches in our community that eat, live, and breathe wanting to be of service to the world. And yes, we're a company. And companies have different offers. And our offers in our coaching programs require a financial investment. So if you're not in that place, don't get upset with me. Don't tell me that we're all about the money. That's unfair. Be mad at yourself for putting yourself in a position where you don't have or you haven't created a space for you to be able to invest in yourself. All right? And again, for those that really can't afford it but really want to be a part of it, well, just keep following all these lives like I'm doing right now. There's beautiful content and there's beautiful support within all of this, and we're always here for you. And at a later point in time when you can make an investment in yourself, then reach out and apply. So for the guys that do want to have a call with one of our coaches, it will require you filling out an application, which will take you through a series of questions. It will only take you a few minutes to fill it out, but that will be a determining factor as to whether or not you are given a call with one of our coaches. We only have a few senior coaches that take these calls, so obviously we get hundreds of applications. So we're very clear on who we're looking for to work with. And we are looking for the man that is dead serious about wanting to grow himself. He's graduated victimhood. He's graduated wanting to blame other people. He recognizes that he is stuck in one or two or three areas of his life and is ready to reclaim his power. He's ready to have mastery over his mind. He's ready to get back his focus. He wants to be supported. He wants to be challenged. He wants to be held accountable. And he absolutely is ready to invest in himself. That's the guy that we're looking for. If you're not that guy, that's totally okay. It's totally okay. And if you are, let us know. Type it below. I am ready. Big fat capital letters. We will put a link below as well where you can be taken to an application page. And I would encourage you to take the application very seriously. If this is something that you want, then take the time that the application deserves and be thoughtful around your answers. All right, guys, so I wanted to come on here today and talk to you a little bit about commanding your focus. And for those of you that tuned in late, we talked about how most men, their focus is either on the past or it's in the future. When it goes on the past, you are being pulled into the good old days or you're being pulled into the stress of the past. The things that didn't work out, the pain, the trauma, the hurt, the wound of what happened to you. And you're unable to be in this present moment because you keep dragging this heavy bag of the past with you. And you think that your life is screwed up today because of what happened to you in the past. Or you get pulled into the future. Your focus is not in this moment. It's not here. It's nowhere. And off you go to the future, into the fantasy about one day I'm going to have it all. I'm going to be with the hottest girl and I'm going to have all this money and all these fancy cars and you'll see and you'll see and you'll see. And you just live in this fantasy. Or you go into the worry and the concern and the anxiety of the future and the things that you can't control. And so this is where most men spend their time, past, future. Well, in between these two things is called present moment. It's called now, here, right? Nowhere. If you're in the past and you're in the future, you're nowhere. Where the hell are you right now? Your kids, Dad, where are you right now? Your wife, where are you right now? Are you even listening to me? I'm nowhere. You pull it apart. Oh, I'm now here, present moment. I'm with you. And again, most men, attention span of a flea. The goldfish has a longer attention span than a man these days. Within 2 seconds, boom, you're off to something else, right? You're listening to me right now. You're already in the past. You're already in the future. You're already scrolling on something else on your phone. You're already looking at a message. You're already looking on one of your pornographic sites. Where are you right now? And this is what we're teaching men. How do you come back into this moment? How do you command your focus? How do you stay in present moment with everything that you're doing? Where you can command your mind, you can command your focus. You can be in your heart, you can be guided by your intuition, you can be strongly rooted, unwavering, steady, sturdy, imperturbable. That's what it's all about, guys. Always an honor, always a joy to be of service to my fellow brothers. We're here to help each other rise. There is no putting down a man. There's no judgment of where anybody is at. I am you and you are me. We are no different than one another. But we are here to remind each other of our greatness. We are here to wake each other up. We are here to come home into the remembrance of who we truly are. And this is the essence of what Man on Fire is all about. It's about really helping a man discover and remember and live into the fullness of who you were born to be. All right, guys, here's to you rising with passion, with power, and with purpose. It is your Man on Fire mentor, Dave Mailer. God bless. I love all of you. Bye for now, guys. Please, if you haven't already, smash up that like key, throw me some fire signs, and put a comment as far as what was your greatest takeaway today. All right, guys. Thank you, Sean Reed. I see all those fire signs, man. You're lighting it up. The screen is so bright I could barely look into it with all those fire signs. Thanks, brother.